So we are live, everybody. We are live with Onchain Gaming and Safrootics. So we're going to learn all about their game today. So the reason I don't start my stream like right away as I'm doing the music and everything like that is because, Twitch is kind of a stickler when it comes to music. And so I don't want to get my stream taken offline. So then I have to just remember, like after I play the song, I have to hit start stream. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, Gaspar, do you want to go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself? And then what is your role at Safrootics?
Yeah, so I've probably been in Web3 for about almost a year now. Safrootics was actually my second project that I ever joined, but I've been mainly working on doing content, doing stuff on Twitch, playing loads of different games, and then a spot opened up on the Safrootics team for the marketing, and that's where I am now, doing their marketing and their relationships within Safrootics.
That's awesome. So what made you want to join the team? Like when you first heard about the game and when you first started looking at it, what made you excited and what made you want to be on the team?
So I think the main reason that I'd only just started in Web3. I went to my first Twitter space, which was Safrootics Twitter space, because of following from, and then just loitered around in the Discord, got to know some of the people, liked the art style, liked the kind of style of the game that they're planning. And every time I heard Crypto Folk, who's the founder, speaking about it and what his vision for it was and how much detail he'd already put into the planning of it, it sounded, even from like a year ago, that it was a game that was building kind of with long-term aspirations rather than just trying to make money, while at that time it was still the bull run.
Yeah, definitely. No, it helps to really, get along with the founders and to really see like kind of like what their vision is and see what they've been working on. And I mean, that's a part of every team, right? You have to have some synergy. So absolutely, I totally get that.
Yeah, before joining, I did quite a few spaces with Crypto Folk and a couple of the other people from the team, just general, Web3 chats, or when they were doing a few AMAs or doing a few of their own spaces, it would be kind of joining in and chatting to them. And we had very similar outlooks on what was needed in Web3, kind of the direction of travel for the games that are actually going to make it. So I think that's right, that having that kind of synergy between the team definitely helps. It makes it a lot easier because I don't need to have to worry half as much about saying the wrong thing. I still tend to come up on my personal account just in case I do say something stupid. We can blame me rather than the Safrootics account. But other than that, normally see eye to eye with the majority of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good. So we are going to talk about the game. Thank you for introducing yourself. And then do we have anybody behind the Safrootics account that we need to say hi to, or are they just
my other phone? So
okay. No, I figured sometimes there's somebody behind the account, but they just never talk. So you never know. But thank you for bringing them up. So we appreciate that. So we're gonna get into the game, but I want to read a little bit from the white paper because I just really like. So if you've seen my show before, you know that I like to kind of like paint a picture of the game because we can't always play the game yet, right? A lot of things are still in development. So I like to try to paint a picture of kind of like, what the game is like. And I found the perfect thing for that in your white paper. So let me just read a little bit of this. Okay, and you don't have to do this, but if you want to, go ahead and close your eyes and imagine a pixel art world with delicious animation, an isometric perspective done by a talented team collective. Imagine this world having tiny little creatures scattered around, different species, powers, visuals, just waiting to be found. Imagine finding one after trying for weeks, keeping it, feeding it, growing it, or becoming a legend in PvP. Imagine finding a rare one and making that trade for a small fortune or choose to evolve it. It's really up to you. So I love how you guys worded that. It's like very, it's a nice little poem, I feel like, and I just really like that. So I hope that helps to kind of segue into some of the, some of the questions and some of the conversation that we'll get into about the game. So with that, so we know that it's on the Polygon blockchain. What do you know what engine it's built with? Is it in Unity or Unreal? It looks like it might be in Unity.
I might have to take a pass on that one. I'm not too sure.
Okay, yeah, not a problem.
I will. I would have to check. I'll see if I've got it written down, but I'm not entirely sure what it's built on. I did just want to comment on the bit you read out. That was something that before I joined, I kept pointing other projects to when I was discussing what they'd done in their white paper, because a lot of white papers tend to jump right into the mechanics behind the game, sort of like the blockchain technology or the tokens or anything, without actually painting that picture of kind of what the game experience itself is looking for. So I was always thought it was good just to start with an opening of trying to give people an idea of what they're actually going to be experiencing, and then you can explain kind of what it's built on underneath. But no, I'm not entirely sure what engine it's actually built on.
Yeah, no problem at all. That's totally fine. So with that, let's talk a little bit about the actual world, and I'm going to share a tweet up to the top. But so this is a pixel game, so it has very cute graphics. Like I really like it. The tweet that's pinned to the very top of the Safrootics page, kind of it goes through like a little bit of gameplay. So I know that you guys are in testing right now, but it goes through a little bit of the gameplay so you can actually see kind of what the game is like. So can you tell us, like, what is Safrootics about? What kind of a game is it?
So it's a catch-em-all style RPG as kind of the base. So the small creatures that you kind of see in the video and what you'll see sort of on the Safrootics profile, they're called Safrootics, or ticks for short. They used to be giants that protected the world, but then there was a calamity and they were shrunk down to minuscule size, and they were thought to have left the world, so everyone was panicking a little bit until one tribe actually found out that they'd been shrunk and found them, in amongst trees and bushes. And since then, all of the lesser creatures are going around trying to find these Safrootics, and that's kind of where you are. You're going around trying to find these creatures in the trees and the bushes. Once you find them, you can train them up, you can nurture them, and they can level up as you go through. So sometimes you'll have wild encounters when you're kind of out and about. Other times you'll just be feeding them and stuff like that. And then you can battle them in the PvP arena. The slight difference with kind of how these are working is that until you hit max level, they aren't actually going to be an NFT. So it's going to be free to play. So anyone can come in and play. And they will eventually be able to get their ticks to NFTs, but you actually have to play through and nurture your tick to the max level before you're able to mint it into an NFT. So that's a quick intro on it.
Okay, I see. That's really interesting. So you can't actually mint it until it's max level. So is there going to be any sort of a
I don't know if you're still
marketplace?
muted.
Oh, whoops. Oh, yep, you're right. I am. Thank you. That that damn mute button today is getting me. But so all right. So the little creatures that you're collecting, so you can't actually mint them into an NFT until it reaches the max level. So is there going to be like a marketplace that you'll be able to buy and sell and trade and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, so once you're able to mint it, you can then put it onto the marketplace to trade it with other players. And then when that player takes it off the marketplace, if they want to get it in game, they have to kind of move it back into the game, and then they have to go through the cycle of kind of leveling it up. So the whole idea is just to try and avoid people just flipping NFTs between themselves all the time. There needs to be kind of a bit of love and a bit of connection with your ticks for you to actually be able to then benefit from getting into NFTs. And that's where it comes into kind of making sure that people are invested in the game, not only from invested as in kind of, money invested, but invested in the sense that they actually want to play it, they want to enjoy it, and they want to level these creatures, and kind of make that bond with them as they're playing through. I've always said that I haven't asked him yet, but I think if no one ever traded one of their ticks because everyone was so in love with them, I think CryptoFoke, the founder, would actually be quite happy with that, because that's the goal of the game.
Yeah. So, all right. So basically, you have a character, and then you're roaming the world. Are you able, is it like an open world? Are you going to be able to like go all over the place and explore, and that's how you'll catch these creatures? Or what, from your experience in playing the test environment, what has that been like?
Yeah, so right now the test environment is a little bit smaller than it's going to be on launch, and I didn't realise where the edge was, so I actually walked off the edge, and the people in the back end had to actually move my character on the database back onto the map.
No.
But yeah, that is kind of the idea of it, that you're going to be adventuring around, and as you go up to places where you can search, you'll be prompted that there's kind of like a magnifying glass you can have a look in, and there's chances that you'll find items, you might find some gold coins, you might find some ting, which is another currency within the game, or you might find a wild Safrootics to battle with, and that's kind of how you go through it. Once that kind of battle is initiated, your team fights against the wild ticks that you found, and then following that, there's a few more kind of mini games that are having to kind of look at to see, just to add a few more mechanics to how you're catching these creatures. But essentially, you'll be able to wander around. And one thing that we're kind of looking at bringing in, and this is something that CryptoFoke's had in kind of his vision for a while, is that these days in games, when you get, say, a quest, there's a big exclamation mark above someone's head. And then you're pointed on a minimap to exactly where you're going. Then you get to where you're trying to look for this quest, and there's now a big exclamation mark over, say, the creature that you're meant to be attacking. And that kind of takes away some of the mystery and the kind of sense of immersion and adventure that you can have in this style of game. So what it's looking like right now is that rather than anything like that, you'll just be talking to NPCs, because the world is populated with NPCs that you can have dialogue with, and they might even just drop a little hint, and if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. But there could be a quest in it. I think what was the example we've been using? Someone might say, "Oh, I can't find my sock," in mid-conversation, and then you're out adventuring, looking around, and then you just find a sock in a bush, and you've got to remember who had lost their sock, and then you go back and give them the sock, and there might be a reward for you for kind of finding that sock. So it's kind of taking a step back from hand-holding with quests and giving people the opportunity to get slightly stuck, but then that's where it will open it up, that the kind of communities will hopefully build on helping each other when they get stuck like that. Kind of what you would have seen back in the day with some of the MMOs and that, where on forums people might discuss getting over challenges rather than there just being a kind of how-to walkthrough guide that you'd kind of find these days.
Yeah, it's nice to have a challenge. Like, I mean, it is nice to have some like helpful, hints on the mini map, like go this direction, or kind of like a quest log. But it is interesting to have it be more of a challenge, and like you actually, like you said, you have to pay attention. Like you have to actually read what the NPCs are saying, and I like the fact that they're giving you little tips. So that is actually pretty cool. So
yeah, and one thing that kind of ties into that as well, that The way the Safrootics can be caught, it'll be that there's loads of different environments that need to be considered for them, and as well as time. So not only are they going to be in certain locations, they'll be in certain locations at certain times. So the game's going to have a day and night cycle of 12 hours, just so that, because the aim is that it's going to be opened up to everyone around the world. So obviously, having it so it was just a 24-hour cycle, you're always going to have people that are always going to miss the night or always going to miss the day. Whereas having it on a 12-hour cycle, it'll give everyone the opportunity to play during the day as well as the night. And so that's where some conversations with NPCs might help. They might say, you've got to find Whale, who's one of the characters, my favourite one, looks like a whale. You can only find them by the water, under the moon or something like that. And that gives you the hint that if that's the kind of creature that you're looking for to bolster your team, you're going to need to hang around near the water at night time, sort of thing.
I see. That's cool. Yeah. So like some creatures you'll be able to only catch during the day, and then other ones you'll only be able to catch during the nighttime. So that's actually pretty cool. What else? You know, obviously, like I can't play the demo because it's not quite out yet. I know that you said that you guys are working on that, and that's totally understandable. But is there any plans for, you know, as you're going along and you're looking for creatures, like if you come across like a gold node, are you going to be able to harvest that and like mine a little bit? I guess what I'm asking, is there going to be any sort of like a crafting system within the game? And will you be able to build it all, or is it primarily going to be the creatures and PvP and that sort of a game?
So it's mine. Majority of it is going to be kind of the creatures and the PvP style of the game, but there is going to be some elements around crafting and collecting items, just because you'll need to be able to feed your creatures. So there'll be some of them like different food and stuff like that. So there will be kind of added bits that you need to be working on, as well as focusing on the creature. But the one thing when it is with any of those mechanics, because there's been quite a lot of mechanics that have been thought of that could work in the game, like whether it's Web3 mechanics or traditional kind of more RPG mechanics. But the kind of founding filter for the game is, will this make people fall in love with their ticks? So if it's a game mechanic or another idea that could be implemented in the game, but it doesn't kind of pass through that filter, it's not going to make you fall in love with your ticks, then it's not something that's going to go in the game. And because that's the core kind of philosophy of the whole game, is that eventually you're in love with these ticks and they're like a real pet would be, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you have to do to level up your pet once you get it, or your tick, sorry?
Yeah, so it depends on the different bits. So some of the bits are going to be more like little tasks with it, but the majority will be going out in the wild and finding wild creatures to kind of battle them against.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. That's awesome. So one thing that I wanted to point out about this game is that it is free to play. And so basically what in my mind, like what that equates to is it's free to play, which is good because there's no barrier to entry, right? It's a really good way to onboard new players. They can test it out, they can catch some ticks, and then hopefully they'll love it and they'll keep playing, right? So then what it becomes is you have these, you've got them for free, but then you're also evolving them, so you're playing to own, right? Is that kind of the model that the game has?
Yeah, so it's I think I've rebranded it on. I'm trying to think of the best way of putting it, but I haven't come up with a catchy one. My closest one at the moment is what I've got on the main account's profile, is free to play to earn, free to play to own, which doesn't really roll off my tongue, but it's definitely better than some of the other ones I'd come up with. And it is exactly that anyone can play, and eventually, if you want, you can mint it, and then that's your tick. And you can trade it if you want. Hopefully you fall in love with it and you kind of want it. I think the main times I see people trading is that they'll want to have a set of ticks that kind of complement each other in battle. Like obviously, if you've got 3 tanks and none of them are doing any damage, you might be in a difficult spot when it comes to the PvP and any of the PvE battles. So it's more likely that people will try and build teams that kind of complement each other in kind of that respect. But that's one of the bits we want when we've been thinking of how the game's going to be rolled out is it's become a cliche now, but we've got onboard Web 2 users. So I'm just going to say it and then we'll move on because kind of everyone already knows that because the majority of the population is Web 2. But the kind of advantages that we're going to have with Safrootics on it is, first off, like you say, it's free to play. Secondly, it's going to be available on PC and Android, so that opens up the market a bit more. Having it as an Android game on mobile, again, kind of fits in with some of the game styles that people are already used to playing on mobile. And we've started to see more Web3 games come on mobile recently, but I still think it's a very untapped market considering the size of the mobile gaming market. And then another aspect that we're now exploring is to make it even easier is that you'll be able to log in with Web2 details. So that way, if someone finds it on... So the ideal situation really is someone randomly finds it on the Google store, doesn't see any of the crypto side because they're not that interested in it, logs in with just their Google account or something, and then starts playing. And then as they slowly build into it, they join the community. That's when we start rolling out some more kind of educational style around what's Web3, what would be the benefit of you minting your tick, because eventually we'd want them to just want to do it off their own backs. That's something they're interested in doing. But alternatively, if they wanted to play the game without really ever engaging with any of the blockchain side, they never wanted to trade their ticks with anyone, that's fine as well. As long as they're still enjoying the game, that's kind of the key aspect of it. And we're not aiming to try and shove blockchain down anyone's throat. So even anything to do with in-game purchases or anything like that, we're looking to make sure that they can be done with fiat as well as crypto, just to keep it as open as possible to people.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I really like how you phrase that is they don't have to, they don't have to be Web3 if they don't want to. Like they don't have to sell their in-game character if they don't want to. They can just keep them. And so that's really nice. I think that we need more of that when it comes to mobile gaming, especially because mobile gaming is like, fast and easy. I think desktop is a little bit more complicated and I expect to like connect my wallet, but a lot of people don't even like their cell phone to be linked to their wallet. So yeah, I actually really like that. And I'm excited that it's a mobile game as well, because I love to like at the end of the night, just like lay in bed and like play like Mario Kart on my phone and play a little bit of Skyweaver. So I play some of those games, even though Mario Kart is not a Web3 game, but I still like to play mobile games at night just to wind down. And so I'm excited that it will be a mobile game. However, I'm on Apple. I don't have an Android. So hopefully, you guys do have plans to bring it to iOS as well. I would love to see that. But if not, I can still play on my computer. So that's fine as well. I did have Luke up here, but it looks like they may have dropped. So you guys, we are talking with Safrootics and we're talking about their game, which you probably have already, listened to a little bit of the space, but it's basically a game where you can catch little creatures and level them up. And if you have any questions about the game or about blockchain game or Web3 gaming in general, please just feel free to come up. And I love when people come up because I love to talk to all of you. I like these spaces to be interactive. And I like to, have the community be a part of this because after all, as much as I love to talk to gaming projects, these are for you guys. So looks like George is requesting. I'm going to go ahead and bring him up here. And while we're waiting for him to connect, I noticed on your Twitter page that you've got a little video of the team testing the game, and I love that. Like everybody's like sitting around the table with their computers, one guy's on mobile, and you guys are testing the game. And I'll be excited when there's a demo to play. So, but you know, no rush. Good things take time. So,
No, I think there's another video on the profile as well where they were testing it on as many mobile devices as they could to see kind of how it was handling on the range of different hardware that the different mobiles could be having.
Awesome. Hey, George, how's it going?
Hello. Good morning. I just wanted to come up and ask a question. Gasper's obviously describing the gameplay. I may have missed it because it's early and my ears don't work properly. But with leveling up the ticks, is it to battle them like Pokemon? And if so, is there going to be like the X is weaker than Y, like water versus leaf versus fire type thing? I'm only asking because I recently played Alluvium. I thought this was the case in that game, and apparently all those different colored stuff that we've learned throughout Pokemon does not matter there. So I'm just wondering if there is battling in your game, is that something that actually works into it?
Yeah, so thanks for your question, George. It's weird you call me Gaspard, but I guess it makes sense because that's what everyone's saying at the moment. Also, Erica, you picked the right twin to have up first, so you've done it proper that way. So just to go back to your question, George. So yeah, there is going to be different kind of magics that each tick has. It is a total. I'm just trying to see if I can pin. There is we do have a diagram of it because there is 6 in total, and obviously they're weaker to some and stronger against others. I post a lot of GIFs, so I can't find the actual one. I'll keep scrolling and I'll try and put it up. But essentially, yeah, there will be things that are stronger against certain ticks. So there will be kind of there won't be the fact that you'll have one team that will end up dominating because they'll get countered by another team. And then the other bit, which I kind of forgot to mention around their kind of uniqueness, is that, okay, I've just found the magic chart. Hang on, I'll just send this through and then I can pin it to the top. The other thing around their uniqueness is that every single tick you catch is unique. So at launch on Alpha, there's going to be 419,904 different ticks available to be caught. Each of them comes with their own PFP as well as a pixel sprite that will kind of be their character in game. But to continue, so that we avoid getting stuck with a certain meta, when each tick levels, they'll have a random chance of how much they're leveling across the different attributes of the tick. So even though I'm going to keep using Whale because Whale is definitely my favourite, even though Whale is designed mainly as a tank, so they're always going to do better getting more kind of health, the amount of health they gain each time will be different for me than if you leveled your Whale. They aren't always going to be the same, and that's just to keep all the ticks unique rather than being able to say these are the 3 you want and everyone just ends up playing those 3. Everyone's ticks are going to be unique, and again that kind of feeds into the whole idea that this is your tick, so we want it to be something that you fall in love with rather than just this is Whale number 5, you've got Whale number 4, we're all the same kind of thing.
Awesome. Great answer. Thank you very much. You said they start with, sorry, I'm jumping onto another question straight away, but you said they start with X amount of ticks. Is there going to be like breeding and stuff in there? And if so, how are you going to stop it increasing? But you've already said a set number of limits, so I assume you guys won't have breeding?
He might actually be connecting, or he might have some connectivity issues. I'm showing him connecting on my screen. I see him
Same.
twice connecting. As well. Man, Twitter's been crazy lately. I was in a space today and I thought I was rugging. I couldn't hear anybody for 2 minutes. And I was like, hey, is anybody there? And they're like, can't you hear, whoever talking? And I'm like, no. It's embarrassing because I hate interrupting people. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, it looks like he might be requesting again. There we go. Okay. Oh. See if I can get him up here.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I both my accounts got kicked to listener. So I tried to log into the other one and I'd been kicked as well.
Oh no.
What was the question? What was the question again, George? Sorry.
It was about breeding. It was about
You said
breeding.
there was a set number of ticks at the start. Does that mean there isn't like going to be any sort of like breeding process or anything like that if you've already got a cap limit on the start, or is the cap limit just for the start and then after that there's going to be the opportunity to maybe breed or something like that? And if there is, do you have a sink to mean that number isn't going to explode?
I'm pretty sure that there's no breeding, but now that you've mentioned it, I feel I've always just read that there's no breeding. I would definitely have to double check on that. Let me just have 2 seconds, and I can see. No, there's not going to be any breeding. What you're going to do is they'll all just be out there in the world, and rather than kind of breeding to increase the number, because of it, 419,000 is a lot. So I don't see anyone catching them all to start with. But there will be new species that are kind of implemented into the game. And as each tick has, I think it's 6 elements, which has 6 varieties. That's how come you get to such a big number of the uniqueness. So every time a species is added, that will kind of increase the number of ticks that are there, and then switch again the meta when it comes to the battling.
Awesome, good to know. That was one of my worries of if it was a set number, that obviously you're going to get stuck with these are the specific things, even if they are leveling up slightly different. If there's never a variation that can be caused through breeding and changing aspects of them, maybe that could have stagnated. But if there are plans to be new types added along the journey to increase this number opposed to breeding, that sounds fantastic. Thanks.
And I think that's kind of part of it is there is the worry of stagnation, and I'm just checking to see which bit, because it's one of the dangers when you end up playing with a game that you really enjoy, is I kind of forget which bits I know because of working with the team and which bits people should know. So I'm just having a double check through the documents about what I'm about to say. But there are a few mechanics in there that will be more story based, which will help you in your PvP area. But am I going to phrase this? You're unlikely to be as good with them with the same team that you do PvP with. I think that's probably a fair way of describing it at the moment. I'm not entirely sure how much of that's out yet. But essentially, there's going to be different things added into the game, so you fall in love with all of your ticks rather than just picking your core team and then not wanting to differentiate from it. We want you to use all the ones you catch and have use for them, whether it's doing something different, but all of them kind of pushing to the same goal of leveling up these ticks so you can build a good team out of them.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for the questions, George. Did you have more questions right now, or did you get all of them answered?
So far, that's all the questions I have for Safrootics, which I surprisingly know very little about, if I'm going to be honest. But I need to keep getting ready for the gym whilst multitasking spaces. Thanks for the answers, guys.
Thank you, George. Appreciate the questions. And yeah, you guys come up and ask questions or say hi, whatever. Or I'm also on Twitter, or not Twitter, well, obviously. Oh my God, it's been such a long fucking week. I can't even think. Okay, I'm on Twitter, but I'm also on Twitch. So if you guys would rather have more of like a visual space, I have like myself. You can see my face. And I've got the Twitter space up. I've got the website up. So I'm kind of like, as we're talking, I'm like scrolling through the website. And so I'm like a super visual person. And I love to have people like know like what I'm looking at and like the perspective that I'm coming from for the questions. So if you guys like that sort of thing, like definitely check that out. And then one thing that I was going to say about the ticks, Let me see. So I'm looking at your white paper right now. So let's see. We talked about catching them. As you kind of like level them up, you get to unlock new areas. You can evolve the tick and then mint it if you like, or you can keep it forever. And then, so there's also going to be a PvP arena and weekly rewards. So this is where, like, you know, you're leveling up, you're leveling up, you're leveling up, but it's not for nothing. It's so that way you can, you know, PvP and become the best of the best of the best of the ticks, right?
Yeah, and I think that's one part that I hadn't mentioned yet around the arena is not only the rewards, which I think is kind of key because everyone, you know, you want a bit of a flex of being top of the table, but you also like people would always like a good reward as they're kind of doing it. But on that page as well, because I've just gone and followed you on Twitch as well. I thought I already was, but now I am, and I'm watching. I can see you. That sounded weird. But is the clans in the middle? There will be a reason to work together with other people so that you can kind of build these clans to sort of, there'll be kind of clan leaderboards as well. And one thing that's mentioned on there is that the clans are kind of already pre-formed slightly depending on which lesser creature. So that's what you are. You're going as a lesser creature. Sort of race of the lesser creature you are will kind of form into naturally clans, and that will kind of help with applying clan-wide buffs and stuff because we want it to have reasons for you to build into the kind of community side of things that are going to be fun playing on your own, but then the fact that you can play on your own and then get together with friends to play it, that's what kind of elevates games above getting a bit, I don't know, not lonely, but do you know what I mean? I think they're always better with friends, even if they can stand on their own without them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love the community aspect of it, so that's really good to see.
And one thing to mention is this is the old white paper. The new one is just being proofread and should be live. I think we're going live next week probably. We were proofreading it and then we got slightly sidetracked on some other bits of development. So there is a new version of the live paper which will be linked to the website soon. So keep an eye out, and that will just have updated bits around what we're doing. It's going to be a GitHub rather than a PDF, just to make it a bit easier for keeping it up to date. And I think everyone's used to GitHub for your white papers now as well.
Yeah,
So that
absolutely.
the new white paper coming soon.
Awesome. Yeah, so you guys keep that out if you're or if you're like rewatching the Twitter space, just to make sure that you go to the website to get the updated white paper, which yeah, that's understandable. I like it when white papers are on GitHub. I really like that, how you like click next and you have like the thing on the side of it. I mean, PDFs are great, but I agree with you. I see more and more games that are gravitating towards that. So that's exciting to see. I'm sure that the last thing that like the developers want to do is put some attention to the white paper. Like at my regular job, our developers, like we have to like fight them. We have to like corner them and be like, please put out an instruction manual, or like they don't like it. Like they get so like inside their head and they're developing and everything like that. They don't like to, write it down. I don't know. It's weird. Do you know what I mean though?
Yeah, I get that. I think it was one of my first things when I joined the team was to we were going to move from PDF to GitHub because everyone's used to seeing it. It flows better. You can edit it easier if you need to change bits, and the people are wary of PDFs now after some of the hacks that come off the back of opening a PDF. So I think because people are always wary anyway, just to make it as easy as possible. And it looks really clean. Like it did take a little bit of convincing that we needed a new one. Especially as at the moment my picture's not in it, but the founder ended up, I think it did like almost a full, like literally 24 hours of just blasting through it, because I was like, oh, we need this, and he was like, okay, I'll start doing it. And then it I don't know if he ever slept, and then it was kind of done. So I'm looking forward to it kind of going live, and I think it will be a much cleaner way of getting the information across to people when they come through.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wary of anything. I'm like have, nightmares about clicking links and everything is gone the next day. And yeah, I'm 100% with you there. I thought you were going to say like the first thing that they did, like on my very first day, they're like, here, make the white paper. They like sent it off on you.
I would have happily helped, but it probably would have been missing a lot of information if it had to come from me.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Well, because I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, right? Like the developers are obviously the ones who are writing everything. And so they know the logic behind everything. And so they really should be the ones who are putting in all those technical details and all of that stuff. So, but yeah, the white paper that you have, I like it because, like I said earlier, I'm visual. And so I love the fact that, it's not just like all text, it has pictures in it. And, I really like how it's done. It's very well designed. And as much as like gameplay is important and it's important that games are fun and everything like that, like I am also a visual person and I have to like the graphics. Like I have to like what I see. I either want something that's like cute, I love pixels, but I also appreciate like hyper realistic, built in Unreal 5. You can see the sweat dripping down someone's face. Like I like all of it, but I mean, if I don't like get along with the art, but yeah, I really like the artwork and I just like the project as a whole. So kudos to your team there. I had another person up, but then they dropped down. So I don't know what's going on, if Twitter Spaces has just been having issues lately. So I apologize if everybody is trying to come up and you can't, or you come up and then you drop a couple seconds later. I apologize. But a good place to get some questions answered is obviously in your Discord. So I hopped in there and I see that you guys have an active community, and we all know what Discord's for. So that's a really great way to communicate with you and the team, right?
Yeah, and I realised when I'm watching, as he's scrolling past on the white paper, that I should probably mention some stuff about our actual NFTs that aren't the creatures as well. I always get sidetracked because I could get lost talking about the game, and then I always forget to actually mention kind of the other blockchain side of it. So
Sure.
you scroll past the section to do with the founders badges, the NFTs. So they'll be the first NFTs that we're kind of minting. What they're going to do is they're going to have different aspects to kind of helping you in game. None of the aspects that they kind of help with in game, such as like inventory slot, the amount of ticks you can hold, are going to make you any more powerful in PvP. But what they'll do is they give you kind of like quality of life benefits. So things might take less time so that you don't have to be online as often to play with it. You might be able to carry more items so you don't have to keep making trips back to the village and stuff like that. Because we wanted to have some reason for people to play with these. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we don't want you to kind of be able to buy your way to the top. And on the 3 badges that are available, so there's a silver, a gold, and a ting. The ting badge will give you access to the closed alpha when that goes live, when the game is launched.
Okay.
So that's kind of the one for anyone who's looking to play early. That's kind of the badge that you should be keeping your eye on. But if you want, there is several competitions we run regularly in the Discord for giving away these badges. Some of them are Meme Lord. So I think I did see our Meme Lord in here actually. Yeah, down the bottom there, Pratesh is currently the Meme Lord. I think that one's still running for this month's Meme Lord, and that's got a prize to it. We then have Draw Your Own Ticks, because the idea is eventually the winners of those will be put into the game as a new species. So in the crowd we've got JT, who has got one of the winning ticks. I was saying before, I can't remember what the official name was, but I think of it as the emo tick, because it's kind of got the hair kind of swiped over the eye to one side. And then I would say for anyone who's interested in badges and wants to win one, there will be a tournament, a competition getting announced either tomorrow or maybe Saturday. which we're going to try and do something slightly different around one of our creatures going on an adventure. But I'll be releasing some more details on that through the Twitter and Discord tomorrow or Saturday. So there'll be ways that you can get involved with getting the badges without having to put your hand in your pocket for them.
Nice, definitely. Yeah, I love a good competition. I love trying to win things. It doesn't happen very often, but I have won some things. So it's always nice to be able to do that and win and get, early access to the game. Somebody on my Twitch, RMZ, said she said she downloaded Mario Kart and it's not that relaxing. I agree, it's really intense, but she said the tick game sounds so fun and she wanted to know what the Discord is. So the Discord is basically going to just be, if you go to their main page, it's going to be on there. Let me see if I can also drop it into my Twitch chat for you. Okay, there you go. There's their Discord. So yeah, hop in there and then, yeah, hopefully you can be a part of the community and see what they've got going on and all of that. So let's see. Was there anything else that we didn't talk about regarding the game? I think we covered a lot.
I suppose I should mention the in-game currencies as well. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be gold chips, gold coins, and ting. Mm-hmm. Ting is the only one that's going to be a token, but it's not the governance token. That's going to be a separate one that's mentioned in the white paper called lab token, which is going to be connected more to the game studio rather than the game, because we don't want the governance token to be used in game, because obviously that causes problems from kind of what we've seen in other games. But there'll be gold coins, which are just Web 2, and then ting, which is going to kind of be Web 3. And you'll be able to do the majority of things with both currencies, just so that it's able to have kind of Web 2 players be able to get the same benefits without having to, get involved with getting the crypto side of it. And then one last thing that I was talking about on a different space a bit earlier, which I think is an interesting figure that I chuckled when I heard about it, is that Web 2 traditional gamers are used to kind of, ads within your game, and if you watch this ad, you get a benefit. So that's something that's going to be in the game, but we don't want it to kind of break the immersion of it, and we don't want it to be kind of boring of literally you just click this button, you watch an ad, you get a prize within game. So the way it's actually going to work is, I think you can see it in the little video that you pinned, that there is a TV on legs in the village. And if you want to watch an ad to get one of these bonuses, you actually have to chase the TV around the village and try and catch up with it to be able to then watch the ad. Because I think that's quite just a fun way of making it a bit more gamified, the fact that you're not just clicking watch ad 3 times a day just to get these bonuses. You're actually having to do something to also be able to watch the ad, rather than it being something that just pops up and ruins the immersion for you. It's actually something that should hopefully add to the fun of the game when you're playing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that the clever way of sneaking it in. Absolutely. But, everybody has to stay afloat. Ad revenue is a good way to do it. And so, it's kind of to be expected. But I like the fact that it's your choice. You don't, because sometimes you have to before you do anything, you're you have to watch the video and you're I don't really want to do that. So I like that you leave that up to the player to choose their own ad adventure or not. One thing is, speaking of that little video, I just want to play this really quick because I thought it was really cute. But when your little character is talking to the NPC, this is what it sounds like, you guys. Hold on. I love that. It kind of reminds me of when I used to play The Sims and everything was zoom, zoom, and, whatever else they used to say, but I really like that. But then obviously you can read it in English, you don't have to try to decipher what the heck that is. It's just really cute. So.
And you also get taste the music style in it as well. It is quite fantasy, relaxing kind of style of the music within the game as well. So it will definitely fit in with the idea of relaxing for bed. Unless obviously you lose against a battle tick and then you want to fight, kind of reclaim your victory, and you end up playing all night, and then you don't get any sleep.
Yeah.
But
I've never
hopefully,
stayed up playing video games all night. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, if anybody has a question, feel free to request speaker. We have just a little bit of time left, but if you have any questions, feel free to request, and we'll kind of leave the last little bit of the space open for that. And yeah, I'm really glad that you were able to come on. I appreciate that. It was really nice to talk with you, and it was great to be able to learn about this game. And you'll have to keep me updated and let me know like when I'm able to, either test it out. I would love to do that, or when there's like a public beta available, and I'll definitely retweet that for everybody. So I love to, stay in touch with the projects that I have on. It's not just like come on my show, be my guest, and then see ya. Like I actually like want to, I want to build the relationships and keep in touch and everything. So, and then also I do like, the projects that I have on my spaces, I do retweet them a lot. And, the reason for that is because like one thing that I really love about this show, not to get on too much of a soapbox, but one thing that I really love about this is that G Media really allows me to have complete creative control over this. They're like, what do you want to do for your show? And I'm like, oh my gosh, gaming? Yeah, let's do that. And then, from there, it was really like I get to curate the music and bring on the guests that I want and everything like that. So it's really nice to have that creative control. But because I get to, invite projects on, that means that I get to stay up to date and I get to retweet them and everything like that. And it's nice. And I really want everybody to know, because this is something that came up last night in a space, is that there's this crazy shit going on where you can actually buy people to come into your spaces, like bots. And that to me is just so freaking crazy. Like, I don't even know who the hell would pay for that. But, none of the projects that I have on my space, like, they don't give me things for free. They're not like paying me or anything like that. And so like all of the retweets and everything like that you guys see, that's all because like I'm genuinely interested in the game and I want you guys to be able to stay up to date. So that's my soapbox. Yeah. I just want everyone to know, because I think it's important. But it doesn't look like anybody has any questions. Alex, did you have any questions at all? Alex is behind the G Media account.
No, just actually just looking at the site again and on the Twitter, and just I love the graphics. I love all the GM tweets with the cute little graphics and all the visuals that are being worked on. And so it's really cool to see more of this, like free to play to earn, just like no barrier of entry to get in. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see it come to fruition and for the story to continue to unfold. All great stuff.
I realised I should probably give a rough timescale as well. The launch of the Founders Badges, and with that kind of the alpha testing, kind of which the Ting Founders Badge will be happening before Christmas. I haven't got a firmer deadline yet, but it will be happening before Christmas. So it's not long now, really.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. So we might have our Christmas wishes might come true, you guys. That would be awesome. Hey, George, you have a question or comment?
It's a comment. I'm pretty certain Safrootics is the one that had that drawing competition, correct, Gaspode, where you created your own tick, if I'm remembering correctly. The Elephant Caterpillar Nightmare Fuel. If you could let everyone see that would be great.
I will see if I can. I will pin it to the tweet afterwards. Yeah, I before joining the team, I entered up one of the create your own ticks, and I am not as talented as JT. So mine was a mixture of a caterpillar with an elephant's head, and it had giraffe's skin. Well, not skin, but the pattern of a giraffe as its body. And George was not a fan of it. It didn't win. I thought it was pretty good. It had a diamond on its head as well.
George, you called it nightmare fuel? That's not very nice.
When when you see this creature he created, you will fully be on board with the term nightmare fuel.
All right. Once it's posted, we'll take a little vote and see about that. But Gaspo, the one that you said that you pinned earlier, I didn't see it on the top. I don't know, maybe if it's just because I'm on BlueStacks or what.
That's when I got kicked back down to listener, so I thought I wouldn't try again, just in case it was that did it. I panicked. So
yeah, don't.
But yeah, I'll see if I can find. Yeah. And then let me see. Yeah, I'll have to pin it. People have to keep an eye on it when it comes through. I'm just looking through all the other ones that people put up. People's were so much better. I can understand why mine didn't win.
If you once you find it, just DM it to me, and then I'll post it under the main space, and we'll get that shared out to everybody so you can see it. So yeah, we are at the hour. So you guys, I really appreciate you coming and talking about the game. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And everybody who came to listen, I appreciate you too. You all are amazing. And you know, it's a bear market. I know times are tough out there, but games kind of help to break that up. So speaking of games, I'm going to do a little bit of a shameless self plug. I have our Twitch, or not in our Twitch, but in our Discord, the G Media Discord, every Monday, I do game night, and it's really fun. Like, we've played Jackbox, we might play a game that's kind of like Mario Kart on this Monday, so we're going to be doing that. We also play marbles, which is amazing. You don't have to have any skill, and it's a fucking blast. Like, we just let the marbles go, and you know, the computer determines who wins. But then we do prizes in Bitcoin as well, so that's a nice little perk. The first prize is $50, second prize is $30, and then third prize is $20. So we not only have fun, but you can win a little bit of Bitcoin too. So definitely follow the Safrootics account, follow Gokhshtein Media account, and then hop in our Discord, say hi. That would be amazing. And then yeah, you guys, I don't have a whole lot else for you except for stay safe out there. There's a lot of shit going on, a lot of scammers and everything like that. And we do this space every single Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, join us next time, and we'll see you all later. Have a great weekend. Have a great night. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye,
Cheers now.
Gaspod. Bye, George. Bye, Alex. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye. See you. Yeah, see you on Monday night or sooner.